time, I used to burn it down. Me and my baby out all night, tearing up the town. Everybody knew my name, they all knew just what to expect. I'd order 5 more rounds at closing time, cause the party wasn't over yet. But now things have changed, guess I done went and settled down. Ain't nobody wondering where the hell I am or when I'm coming back around. No more last call, ain't no more 4 a.m. Stumble into bed.
Well, that was just a clip of the song from our guest tonight, Mr. Jerry Wayne Allen. I'm about to bring him on, but I want to welcome you to a Sunday edition. It's 7 p.m. Central Time here in Nashville. And I wanted to say a big hello to everybody out there, whether you're watching down here in Tennessee or on the East Coast, the West Coast, anywhere in the world. We're being streamed live from Facebook and YouTube, and we will be uploaded to all the other formats and platforms later on. But before I bring on my guest, Jerry, I wanted just to tell you guys, you can ask questions and comments. You can share this, the links and whatever live. And this will also be repeated right after this forever. So this is kind of fun and it's exciting. I love doing this. I don't know why, I just do. And when I pick people, it's usually people that everyone comes up to me and says, you gotta talk to this person. They're really cool. They got this going on. They're really good at what they do, blah, blah, blah. All right. So I'm not going to even mince any more words on this. At this very moment, I'm going to bring on my guest who just drove in all the way from Indiana. I mean, I think he just got home a few minutes ago and he's in his studio right now. And I'm going to bring him on. Please help me welcome to the stage, Mr. Jerry Wayne Allen. There he is. How you doing, brother?
I'm just fine, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Hey, I'm going to say hi to Sally and Albert over there. Yeah, share this link, you guys, if you can, because we're going to spend a little bit of time here with my new friend, Jerry. Jerry, we met about a week and a half ago?
Yeah, Yeah.
I don't even remember what day. I think it was a Tuesday, maybe. We met at the Greenlight downtown. I mean, like right downtown Nashville.
Yep.
And
Nashville's hidden gem.
Yeah, it really is. And, I love it when I see, people that are just really into what they do. And right away, I had some friends there with me from the Nashville Songwriting Association, which is a big deal if you're a songwriter, and they also own the Bluebird. And they said, we got to go to this Greenlight, blah, 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 blah. And as soon as we got there and we saw people singing, they got a couple Grammys and they got this, they got that. And then, there's this guy larger than life wearing this black hat and they go, we got to get him to do your thing, Nash Talk. And I said, really? They go, yeah. And probably 15 minutes later, you walk by us and, I think the rest is history. We talked for a little bit and then we talked on the phone a few days later and we set this up. So let's get into you. This is your show. This is your story. Welcome to it. Let's start off from the beginning. First of all, am I right? You're from Indianapolis, or is that or somewhere?
Yeah. I'm from a little Fountain Square, Indianapolis. Fountain Square is the old downtown from Indianapolis. That's where I grew up at. And when I got older, I made enough money to move to Greenwood. So that's middle class, I guess. And kind of moved out of the neighborhood.
Well, I've been to Indianapolis many times. Let me turn on one of my lights here. Oh, nope, I don't like that light. I thought I would like it. You know what? In fact, you're such a handsome fella. I just wonder, how did you, I wouldn't guess you coming from Indiana, I guess. Maybe, I don't know why, because you seem like you're like the perfect representation of down, what Nashville's all about down here, in the Music City.
Yeah, man. I don't know how to explain that, dude. I think Nashville just rubs off on you, I do believe it. Yeah. I think when people like myself are, from a different place, Indiana, Arkansas, California, whatever, California obviously has its own vibe, but in Texas as well. But like these, the flyover states, like people, when they come to places like those, like California, Texas, and Nashville, they start finding themselves and coming into their own type thing,
Yeah.
I guess that
well, what can let me ask you a deeper question, going all the way back to when you were, younger, I guess. What sparked you to become a musician or a songwriter or whatever?
Man, when I was a kid, there was always, Elvis and Hank Jr. or Hank Williams rather, Conway Twitty and whatever, just playing in my house. And I lived right across the street from my friend Dennis, and I can't even believe I just remembered his name, because I was like a little kid, like 10 years old. And
Sure.
we would play Kiss, like we were in a band and we were Kiss, in his garage. I had boxes set up. I was, the drummer, and he was the singer, and guitar. He was Paul Stanley, and then this guy lived right behind him, and he was a drummer, and we could just hear him going to town, just going to every day. And I got to know him. And once I seen him do that and actually seen somebody in person play a set of drums, I knew I wanted to be a musician of some sort.
So what was your first instrument?
Drums. Yeah.
Drums. Okay. I was going to guess that.
My parents scraped together $40 and bought, he had a 3-piece set of drums and just a hi-hat, not even the kick pedal to the kick drum. And I had them, they bought it for me. When I was in school, I got the highest test on the music we had like a music test, and I got the highest grade in the school. And I have no idea why at all. I can't even, I don't know how I did that, but I think just because most people weren't interested. But and because of that, they scraped together the money and bought me the drums, and I just, played the hell out of them as much as I could.
Mm-hmm. How long did you play for?
Well, I still play. I've played like a little bit all my life. I'm not what I would call a drummer. I just, I know a handful of songs anymore, but just I've dabbled all my life. I guess.
Yeah. I envy that. Yeah, I like that.
I soon got into guitar, which is, that was a blessing. So,
how old were you when you got into the
guitar? Probably 12 or 13. I heard bands like Boston and Rod Stewart and the Stones and all that stuff was on the radio when I was that age, and REO Speedwagon, and they had that song "Take It on the Run." That was huge when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then I found Black Sabbath, and I was like, well, how do I do that? I had a couple of friends that were guitar. They found the guitar also, and this is right around, like I said, just a couple of years after drums. I just started practicing what they would show me, and that would be it. And then obviously you find your guitar heroes, and then you don't want to play anymore because you just know you'll never achieve that. And then, I kind of went through that phase when I was a teenager. Randy Rhoads and Jimmy and whatnot. And so I when I was still in Fountain Square at the time, and this one guy, he was older than the rest of us by quite a bit, I think. His name was Todd Brady, and he was just a kick-ass guitar player. And he looked the part, he looked like he was an Iron Maiden or something,
Right.
So we'd always, kind of just congregate over his house and just watch him play and try to pick up things here and there. But that's about when I started figuring out I wanted to be a guitar player of some sort. Yeah.
So you had all these different. You go from Kiss to REO Speedwagon.
Like I was listening just as a music lover. The story of like Take It on the Run and just listening to that storytelling. That kind of thing. I know it's everybody's like, oh, that song, whatever, but that's a hell of a story, and just the whole being a fan of it, you know what I mean? But then trying to really, it wasn't until I found like Randy Rhoads. When I found him, I wanted to really be a guitar player, I wanted to just give it all I had. Never really achieved that. I still don't think I play Crazy Train correctly, but I mean,
Crazy Train. Yeah. You really are a Randy Rhoads fan, aren't you?
I'm a huge fanatic. I always have been. And there's, I mean, it's weird, man, because, hell, you look on YouTube now and there's 12-year-old kids that can do that solo to Crazy Train, 10-year-olds, 7-year-olds. And I'm like, wow, that's really awful. Because, man, I just never got it like that. You know what I mean? It's weird because when you see a 7-year-old do Yngwie Malmsteen on the guitar, it's like, back in our day, they would have been known as a prodigy, but now there's just thousands of prodigies out there that are just, just killing it.
Sure.
Little kids,
Yeah, they it's funny because I think because they have YouTube, and I think Guitar Hero didn't hurt.
Yeah.
We're able to learn a different way than what we had as kids, because I understand that whole intimidation factor. I was thinking, like it was everything from, like you said, Jimmy Page, to Prince, and all these other people that seemed like in another level that, you couldn't acquire. But it seems like being in Nashville, they seem to stick with the three chords and the truth kind of theory, and then you evolve off of that. It isn't like this really astrophysical kind of music presentation until you get into production of a studio.
Right.
But I think that getting the message out of a song is really important. You mentioned being a drummer. I know I was, as a kid, before I started kind of writing songs, I was really into the drums. I remember hearing the song Wipeout, and that was kind of my first song that I would.
I remember that, yeah.
And I remember a neighbor would play it on a really loud stereo in Detroit, and I was in. Who were the guys? It wasn't Keith Moon or John Bonham. I think it was Buddy Rich. That was my first favorite, because he would be on TV all the time.
Yeah, he was I can remember watching like Buddy Rich on the variety shows and whatever when I was really little. But absolutely, Buddy Rich was. I mean, even back when I was talking about being a drummer when I was 10 years old, like my music teacher at school would be like, "Oh, you should listen to Buddy Rich, and you should do this," and he was a great drummer.
Yeah,
and
you said
a lot of people don't understand that, man. If I mean, you say Buddy Rich and they think old time swing stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just. Or whatever, I don't know what genre he was. I guess big band, But man, if you watch him today, like on old videos, it's like, damn,
right? That was crazy. Yeah. Who else? I think it was Dusty Baker from. There was all kinds of really, really, really good drummers. It's funny you mentioned REO Speedwagon. I saw them years ago in concert back when they came out with that album.
Oh, wow.
And I remember the lead guitarist, who's no longer with us, Gary Richrath, I think his name was.
Great guitar player, man.
Yeah, I think he was actually too good for the band, to be honest with you. Because he probably
so good, man. It was so good. I mean, those solos, man, just unbelievable.
Yeah. I guess so. Those were your basic inspirations for getting into the music, from drums to guitar. Is there any other instruments that you've dabbled with or mastered or anything like that?
No, again, though, I've been raising a family since I was 18. So I mean, I haven't had like solid time to just get after it. You know what I mean? I couldn't afford to like just sit in my just sit around and learn to play guitar. I've been on my own since I've been 15. You know what I mean? So it's like I've never had time to do that. So as good as I am now, which is not very good, I can get things done, but it's a miracle because I just haven't had the time, to just really put into it until, I would, I've had so many guitars, I can't tell you. And I'd sell them because I just couldn't spend time with them, but that's been a progression over many, many years.
Before we began, I noticed that you were setting up behind you. You had some guitars that you were playing with in the background.
Yeah.
Do you have a particular go-to or favorite style or brand? Because
I'm a Gibson guy, man. So this is my baby. I've waited my whole life to buy this guitar. It's a Gibson J2. Wow. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful guitar, man. It's a 1995. And I got this guitar here for when I want to get rowdy. It's a
I want to get rowdy. I love it.
It's a Gibson Explorer. I got this from my pal Jason Swayze in Indianapolis. It's not an old guitar. It's probably 5, 6 years old, maybe. I don't know. I think it's a 17 or something. But it's
play on that when you're rowdy.
It's so kick ass,
Yeah. I like it. What do you play on there when you get rowdy? Sorry, I got kind of interrupted.
I mean, man, I really just you name it. If I feel like I can play it, I try to. And I have this little Spark amp. You ever heard of those?
I have actually. I'm just not familiar with them. I've never seen one.
Such a kick ass little amp. I mean, it's
really.
Oh my God, dude. It's like, man.
Not a Marshall?
Well, I have a little Marshall over here, and I've had Marshalls, in my life. But like this amp here, man.
Testing you.
I think it would probably sound, it's not plugged in, but it would probably sound awful if I plugged it in just on the video or whatever. But it's a great little amp. It's just loud enough to get it done, but it's not so loud where it's going to piss everybody off,
Right. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, Crazy Train.
I hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. Good guitar, man. I love this guitar.
Now, I wish I would have asked you, more pre-questions, but I told you that, before we went on. I said I'm gonna, fly at you, from every different angle. So now I know that you've got some songs out there. How many have you? First off, when did you start writing? And I know you told me you're on Americana, which is big down here at Nashville.
Yeah, I started writing. I didn't write my first serious song till I was like 28. I always wrote music. Like if I was a guitar player in a band or whatever, just half-assing it, I didn't get serious about being in a band until I was probably about that age. And then because, like I said, I've had kids since before, I can't even remember not having any, and just being a bricklayer, it's hard work and it takes a lot out of you. And especially when I was younger, I was hell on wheels. And but when I started writing songs, my one of my best friends in the entire world, his name's Troy Davis. He knew I was a metalhead. I was working for him, and he said, "Oh yeah," I played him some Maiden, Metallica, some Ozzy, and he's like, "Oh wow, turn that shit off, will you?" Okay, oh, no problem. And then he was 10 years older than me, about 10 years, 9, 10 years. And just like he became later just a brother to me. I wouldn't even call him friends. He was just my family,
That's great.
He said, "You ever heard of Bob Dylan?" And I was like, "Yes." And I cannot stand, you know what I mean? I just can't. I can't do it. And then,
Hey.
yeah. Then he played me a song called "The Hurricane," and he knew I was a boxer. Well, I was. You know, back then I think I was still fighting, but because I had fought also, I found time to do that.
Right.
And he played me the song, and dude, I couldn't believe that level of songwriting. You know what I mean? It's like it was so unconventional. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Came out of nowhere.
And then it was like I'd show up one day and he'd have John Prine going, and I was just like, I can't even believe what I'm hearing. This stuff is amazing, you know? And it was so different. It was like he finally gave me like a greatest hits of John Prine, and I would play it in my truck. But when I was around my friends, I would hurry up and turn it off, you know, because we're all Metallica, and you know, you get your ass kicked listening to anything else in my neighborhood, you know.
Right.
I know it sounds weird, man, but I'm gonna tell you, you know. But then, you know, then it was John Hyatt, and you know, I was like, son of a bitch, you know, this is. I wonder if I can do this, you know.
Uh-huh.
And I had an acoustic at the time, and I just started playing, you know, like trying to write my own stuff, and I ended up writing a song called "Peace of Mind," and it was about my wife at the time, and it was pretty cool. I just when I sing it now, and then I go back and like, you know, the way that it's laid out, I'm like, that's that song you revisit 10 years later and then rewrite it.
Yeah.
It might not cut the mustard, you know.
Right.
It's yeah, so that's about when I started getting serious, and since then I've written, I mean, hundreds of songs, man. I mean, I think I stopped counting at around 2,000 songs, you know.
Wow, that's what I wanted to hear. That was my next question.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I went on.
I was waiting for you to say, well, 3. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, you know, because
I keep 50 songs in a rotation, like the ones I have.
Really?
Yeah, like just 50 in a rotation that I'll do for a while, and then I'll switch it up and just probably not even play them again. Like the song you introduced. I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm slowing down though on songwriting. I'm you know.
I don't think 2,000. I think that's
Well, you know, most of it's garbage. I was honing my craft, and I still am. You know what I mean? But nothing I wrote, you know, when I was in my 30s were I mean, they were rock oriented, and you know, me and my pals, the first band that I was actually in, I sang in that band, and when I listen back on like the last show we played, you know, I'm like, all of those songs need rewritten and restructured, you know, but we were killing it, man. I mean, back then we were burning it up, you know, all through Indianapolis. You know, I was in a band with some guys that were way better than me, you know, for sure. And but the songs, you know, my songwriting's definitely evolved since then.
Well, you know, I was actually going to lean into that direction, because I do believe it's an evolution and it's a mature. It's like you kind of like you start off like wanting to, you know, write these head banging songs, and then, you know, like every rock band finds, if they write a ballad, that the girls will show up, and then there's circumstances in your life that also create an offspring of song ideas for, you know, what you're feeling and what you're going through. I think we all have. But also, I guess the next question would be for me and the people watching, and I see some people on there, you know, that are in the music industry, that this is something I would ask probably most people, that why did you come to Nashville, and when? What brought you here?
So I should have been here a long time ago, man. I really did wait. I had to, though. You know, I told about my daughter and whatnot, and you know, after after she passed away, I know we just probably jumped into a whole.
No. Please.
People, most people will not know what I'm talking about. But I had a daughter that passed away. But when she passed away, my wife at the time and I we got a divorce, and I was like, I'm starting my life over. I'm 49 years old at the time, and I'm like, I just met Stephanie, and meeting her, I waited a whole year after I was divorced, and before I did anything serious. You know what I'm saying? And then
what year was this?
Oh, God. Don't make me do math, man. 4 years ago.
4 years ago?
Yeah. So I'm
okay. The audience kind of keeping tune with
the
thing.
Yeah. So I actually I met Stephanie, and then she knew I was a songwriter, and she knew that I was pursuing it, even more than I had. I told her about my past and all the music that I've done, all the bands I've been in and whatnot. And she was like, "Well, I hope to move there, one day." And in short, we decided we were going to move to Tennessee. So my house got sold and my business got settled, and we moved here. About I think it's going to be 3 years since being here.
So during COVID, then?
Yeah, just maybe not after it, but toward the end of it, I guess.
21.
Yeah, I try and forget about COVID.
Yeah. Listen, I was going to have a hard. I mean, I know that you told me briefly in a conversation we had over the phone over a week ago, and it was in the in the morning. If I can, just for a moment, what was your daughter's name? Because I know that we both have a similarity in that fashion, but I wanted the audience to know. Because that is part of the reason why you came here. Same with me. I lost my son, as you know, and that's what got me to come down here. And I didn't just pick up and leave in one day. There's an evolution, there's a process.
Yeah. A lot of it was that she would want me to, So it's like my daughter's name was Samantha Allen.
Beautiful name.
She got hit by a car when she was 7. She had just got off the school bus, and anyway, she was a C1 spinal cord injury, and a quadriplegic, and our lives changed and stopped at the same time, and we just focused on caring for her all up until she passed away. So, nothing else really mattered there. And we still had, our other 3 kids, on top of that. And so it was a tough time, man.
What are the other kids' names, by the way?
So my oldest son, I had him when I was 18. His name's Justin Allen. Justin the Body Snatcher Allen.
The Body Snatcher.
He took after me, man. He became a way better fighter than I ever could be. He's retired now, but he did pretty good. And my daughter Tiffany Copeland now, but Tiffany Elaine, she owns Sweet Tea's Cottage Bakery in Indianapolis, and it's a nice little bakery in Wanamaker, Indiana.
Wow, that's nice.
And then my daughter Cheyenne Allen, she's got, they all got kids. I got 12 grandkids, or 13 grandkids, man.
Wow.
Yeah, Justin's got 6 kids, and my daughter Tiffany has 4, and my daughter Cheyenne has 2. I think that math's right. And then I have my Stephanie, of course, she has a granddaughter also. So yeah, man.
Wow, yeah, man. I like that. Yeah, man. Okay, we're gonna get back to the music, but I just wanted to, touch on, the aspects there, because I think that you it says a lot about you, because you mentioned at the beginning, and I didn't know it until we started this conversation live, that you were, 18 when you were you've been on your own since you were 15. That you had your first child at 18. And then your daughter, I don't know where in the the hierarchy of
So Sam was my third child.
Okay.
My youngest. Yeah. Tiffany's my oldest daughter, and Justin's my oldest kid.
So, and I know that you had to spend years. It wasn't like it just had she was years that she remained a lot, so she survived.
Yeah. 7 to 21. She lived to be 21.
Okay. I don't want to keep, harping on that. I just want the audience to know because I know that we just putting a timeline to everything this way, because of ultimately, after your divorce, then you decide, and then you met, your current love, and then you came down here together. And this is the story of you, where now we go into the element of Nashville. We know that you play drums and guitar. We know that you started writing at 28, and you've got a couple thousand songs in your hardware box. So where do you typically, like when you got down here, what was your expectation of Nashville? This goes for all the songwriters out there. They come down here with
it was hilarious because
there we go.
I had been coming down here for years, man. Just being stupid, down on Broadway, whatever. And me and my brother-in-law Nick Sims, we would come down here and just stay the weekend, just on a whim. You know what I mean? But I did that all the time. Him and I actually, we did it all the time. And yeah, man, just so when I got here, it was hilarious, man. I thought I was going to take off where I left off. I went a long time without playing in front of anybody, and then Nashville on top of that. It was like, and plus before I always had a band behind me, we had each other's back and whatever. But man, I when I got here, I really thought I was going to take off where I left off, and I did not. I had to learn all over again how to perform in front of people. I still am. I still got what they call a prick switch. Like when I'm singing, I just look stoic, or like I'm going to put my foot in somebody's ass or something, and it's just like,
wow.
I know, I don't understand it. I mean, you may not have experienced that, but when I first started back, here, that was it, man. I mean, I couldn't figure it out. And finally, with the, you didn't get to experience Whiskey Bent. Whiskey Bent was the only songwriters round on Broadway. And
I didn't know that.
It was Sunday morning at 10 o'clock.
What? Somebody's hung over, right?
Oh my God. So you had maybe 10 people there, on any given time. And then the passersby, the early birds get up and kind of just pass back and forth. But it was so good. It was so cool. And I just kind of got myself together there, and they were so patient. Janet and Charles Cox, who I don't know if you know them yet or not, but you should. Those guys have been here for a long time, and they know everybody, and they're just so patient. Those are two real entertainers right there. And I would like mid-song just get my words snatched out of my head. I mean, I am completely just be like, and then once it was over, I'd get down and start complaining to myself about it or whatever. And Janet and Charles would just be like, man, you just got to keep on keeping on, man. I'll see you next week. Because the first time I did it, I never thought they would even want me to come back,
Yeah.
It took a while for me to get it. I still do every once in a while, but not like I did, man. It was an eye opener. Anytime you're doing your thing, where you're supposed to be doing it, you got to get your legs under you, man. I don't care how much. So I tell, there's bands that come here, like, I don't know if you know where Bowie's is down off Broadway.
I do. The park right next to it.
Nice. It's rare when a band can come from out of town and come in there like a place like that and play and kill it. You know what I mean? Because it's like we're in Nashville. It's like, I got some friends, Glamerica. They come down and play every now and again. They waited a whole year, I think, to play there. But they already had experience like at the Whiskey in LA, you know, and all that stuff playing there. So they were, you know, you couldn't shake them. But I've seen bands come in there from Arkansas or Wyoming or St. Louis and just freeze, you know. So it's crazy.
So when did you finally land on the moon here? Like, when did you like know like that moment, like after going through these processes? Because I'm skipping ahead of how long it might have taken you, because I know nothing happens here instantly for pretty much anybody. No matter what, you know, you just like. But so where did you like cut your teeth as far as finally getting, you know, your moment where you got to play what you know, I mean, or where here, I'll make it easier. Like, were you doing like an open mic or something, and then you got to play one of your songs, and how was it received? The one that you knew that you had the moment.
I just wanted to get to where when I was playing, I wasn't so focused on not forgetting words and, you know, not getting lost in songs, by the way, that I have played a million times. It's like, when I went to the Commodore, you know, Debbie and Champion and Jimmy, you know, they have their own nights, but that place is, you know, a cornerstone for Nashville, you know, as far as like everybody's played there, you know, and I mean, you're talking about hit songwriters going there and play all the time. And I mean, hit songwriters, famous people, you know, people that wrote every song you've been listening to your entire life, you know, just I wanted to get through the song and just enjoy myself for once. It's when I did that that I realized I can do this now. You know what I mean? And it was at one of Debbie Champion's writer nights, and it was about probably a year ago, even like a year and a half ago. I was just like, okay, you know, this that felt good. And then I just kind of focused in on that and that experience everywhere else I went. The Millennium Maxwell House Hotel for Lee Rascone, you know, the Aloft, all the other places, you know, that I've played. It's like I had to figure out how to get in the zone, you know.
Get in the zone.
I can remember when it happened. It was cool.
You know, every time you talk, it's like every other paragraph, I hear a song title. Like I heard that felt cool. Like that could be a song right there. You know, I could see.
Yeah.
So like your reception, do you feel like, is there a particular element? You said Americana was your go-to. What is that? Is that really what brings the fire out when people hear you play?
I mean, I get compared a lot to like Southern rock, you know. But yeah, I mean, Americana is just, you know, I mean, it's such a cool genre, you know. Like you got Daryl Scott and even like artists like Sean Mullins. He had a couple Americana songs, you know. Sean Mullins is a big influence on me, man. You couldn't tell it, you know, because he's so great. But it's like just, you know, just yeah, Ray Sisk. Well, I don't know if Ray Sisk is. Do you know Ray?
No, I don't.
Oh my God. You know, that guy is a legend. I don't know if he's Americana or not. I guess I would put him in Americana music for sure. But when I first met him, when I started coming here and through Janet and Charles, and man, that guy's just one of my heroes. But anyway, yeah, just, you know, the Southern rock thing though. I mean, I guess I like that too, you know, a lot. You know, like there's bands out there that I've been working with this a friend of mine. His name's Caleb Blake, and you know, I like bands like Dirty Honey and you know, just like that. They got that Southern just rock vibe to them. You know what I mean? It's yeah.
I just got familiar with them not too long ago. I think they opened up for, stop me if I'm wrong, Guns N' Roses or somebody.
Dirty Honey. Yeah.
Yeah, they're blowing up. I wish I was more familiar with them. We had, I think out of Michigan, we had a Greta Van Fleet and things like that. And
they're badass. Yeah, it took me a minute to catch on to those guys, man, because
me too, actually.
I was like, that's been done. You can't blatantly steal, from somebody. But I had a conversation with my my stepson Tyler, and it just dawned on me that bands like Led Zeppelin, man, it'd just be a shame that vibe died. You know what I mean?
Right. They ignited the torch again,
dude. It's just like, and they're so close to it. You know what I mean? But it's like, it'd be a shame if that sound went away. So I kind of get it now. I'm on board.
It's funny, if I can just say this, I've heard of Americana for a couple of years, and I wasn't really leaning towards it, but the friends that I've come to know in the last year or so that I've been here, they really like the Americana element. They like that kind of feel. And even some of the guys I interviewed before, I'm friends with now, from the Hippies and Cowboys that play on Broadway, they're trying to bring back that sound. And it's really hard because, that was an analog sound with certain, the way it was all put together. And, they've even accused Led Zeppelin of copying people before. So, we don't know. And, but I don't think anybody's blatantly copying somebody. I think they're emulating the sound they like and the artists that they admire. And then they're trying to create an extension, an addendum, if you will, that like you said, keeps the legacy alive, the fire burning.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was younger, when I was in like one of my first bands, we were in a band called Zero Gravity. And my friends John and Sean DaCosta, they're brothers. One was a drummer, one's a bass player, and they put this band together, and they got me to come and play with them. They had a rehearsal spot and all this other stuff, but I sounded like that whole Creed Three Doors Down thing.
Yeah.
Real heavy. I mean, like, I can't even explain it. I got sick of hearing people compare us to them. I tried to change how I sounded and the whole thing after I was out of that band. I'd end up moving to California, but I get it. You know what I mean? I just now if I pull out 1 second.
Sure, take your. I was going to say you can drink while you're doing this.
Now when I pull out My Own Prison or Kryptonite by Three Doors Down in the karaoke,
oh yeah,
it's like they're in the house. And people appreciate it now,
Mm-hmm.
But people were so critical, all through the early 2000s and late 90 or 99, 98, that I was just, I didn't want to be compared to anybody else, but it just is what it is, so I totally get it.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I said those were great bands.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and feel free to clear your throat, drink anytime you want. This isn't like, you know what I mean? I want people, you just like you're at your house. Well, you are, basically. And relax, lean back. But what was I going to say? Oh, I know. That's the thing. I mean, being a DJ, nightclubs, private events, working with radio stations, big ones, all across the board and around the country. I was always like that guy that the one hit wonders, but I also like the guys that could keep repeating success no matter what the genre. Duran Duran, Elton John, Van Halen, they had more than one song. Because, and one of the reasons why you mentioned Boston, I remember when they came out with that album and I never even heard of them. My older cousin, he was like 5 years older than me. No, I'm sorry, 10 years older than me. And he gave me this 8-track. I'm dating myself, but I played this thing and I thought, I don't want to hear this, because Peter Frampton had, one of the biggest live albums in the history of live. Peter Frampton Goes Live. Sure. Frampton Comes Alive, and they had everything on it. But Boston, as soon as I put that thing in, I remember telling somebody, I don't think it was a year I became a DJ, by the way. And I thought there was not one bad song on that album.
Nope.
Every single song made it to the radio.
That song.
Probably the most underrated band in rock and roll. I swear to God. You know, and I guess where I'm going with it is that, you know, when you come down here and being a DJ, that there were so many overproduced songs back in the 80s and 90s.
Sure.
And then the grunge era came in and they thought, okay, cover band or like the basic rock and roll bands like Motley Crue, you know, the glam bands, they called them. And then all of a sudden comes the grunge from Seattle, Nirvana and Dave Grohl and, Kurt Cobain and you know, Chris Cornell, all that stuff. But then what happened, Metallica came and Guns N' Roses came back and like they go, no, we're coming back. Yeah. And they haven't left. Nobody left. In fact, the only time people leave is when somebody ends up, dying from the band, like Eddie Van Halen. But I even now look at Sammy Hagar. He's 78 years old, and he's trying to put on a thing with Joe Satriani and Michael Anthony.
Why not, I mean, a guy can do it till he dies,
Yeah, and so when I see somebody like you that represents the organic, acoustic, analog music, nothing wrong with what's going on there. But I know that being a DJ those years and a songwriter, and all that, I look back and I go, God, the last 10 years, all that music was disposable. Nobody's ever going to remember it in 5 years. Yeah. Well, 5 years ago, nobody remembers it now, but you can remember music from 50 years ago like that, just like that. Right. I know. So there's only so many notes in music on a scale. There's only so many, they went from 6 string to 12 string, as Jimmy Page just, definitely displayed. But I think that when you can go out there and get in front of an audience with a microphone and a speaker and a 6 string and your voice, I wasn't really into it until I got down here the last handful of years. And now I get it. I get it more than I ever got it. In fact, that's why I came on and did this, because I said, they're doing something. They're able to express themselves. I mean, you went at 28 years old with no songs to 2,000 songs. I mean, you know what I mean? And I'm sure like a lot of them probably won't see the light of day. That's every songwriter, but a lot of them probably have. And let me just go with that for a moment. What inspired, I want to say inspires and inspired. So I'm going to combine those two for a moment. So like, in the best way you can, try to describe like, okay, this is how I first started out. And then now I'm writing songs. And then there's certain songs right now that I want to be remembered by, or that people will find them. My grandchildren, somebody might take these songs and run with them, or these songs mean the most to me. So go with that. Inspiration.
As far as like the inspiration, like behind ones that I've already written, or what gets.
I know it's kind of a long question, but like what inspires you as a songwriter?
Oh man. So, I tend to write better for people. Like, let's say, let's say, you and I got to know each other and then you told me your story, and I would just sit down and decide to write you a song. I mean, I write better like that. I wrote, pretty much, only a handful of songs that I just wrote, for the hell of it.
Right.
So it's like that's why I have such a hard time like co-writing with people. I'm trying to figure it out. It's when you can sit down, and that's a special talent when you can sit down and just like Glory Days, for instance. I really did just write that song on a whim, like just I just reflected back on listening to a conversation my friend was having with his dad, and I just took some liberties there and just kind of put the song together, and it's a great song. I mean, to me, I really enjoy that song. But I have to write about something. I got to write about a situation. To sit down and just pull one out of thin air, that's a unique talent, in my opinion. But I'm never short on influence as far as what goes on because my life has been so chaotic. I mean, just from start to finish, and I mean, it'd blow your mind. There's always something to pull from, But I do my best stuff when I'm writing for somebody else.
You just said a mouthful as far as, because, when I came down to Nashville a couple years ago, right before the CRS passed, I remember they said something, and you've heard it 1,000 times. They should put a billboard or something when you enter Nashville. It's 3 chords in the song. They love a story.
3 chords and the truth. Yep.
3 chords and the truth, right?
Yep.
And you had kids starting at 18. You had a daughter that you had to take care of that had a serious accident that that ultimately brought you here. And I know that your marriage probably was affected by it, but you kept your music somehow alive and all that, with everything going on. And you're a hardworking guy. You represent the hardworking American guy. I mean, when we were talking, a week or so ago, I was at a car dealership getting my car worked on, and you were, hey, I'm in between. I got to go. Your hands deep in construction, and at nighttime, you've got your music.
Yeah,
that's a story. That's the real deal. You're not taking shortcuts.
It's a lot of people's story. It's like, especially the young songwriters, they're waitressing or they're waiter, whatever, parking cars, trying to pay rent. It's god awful. This town is just financially to suck your soul right out of your body. But even, for me, it's like, rent's a lot, these days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I've always had, even when I was a fighter, man, I gave that a go. Like I said, my son turned out to be way better than I was, but I would work all day long and then go to the gym, and it was just like, oh my God, this is not going to last forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I guess, one of the reasons I like doing this is because, I want people to tell their stories that have done what you do to be here.
Yeah.
It was a sacrifice. When you leave Indiana to come here, I've been to Indiana a million times. I made a lot of money in Indianapolis off of College Avenue at the, what's called the Vogue.
Oh, yeah, buddy. Yeah. Been there a lot.
Oh yeah, I made more money in there in one night 20 years ago than I've spent down here in the last year. I'm not kidding. So I love Indiana, and I like the new Indiana, or the Indianapolis downtown area, and I love it all. So you left that. It wasn't like you were escaping something. You left it. You had your reasons, and then you came down here, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't like they were waiting for you. And
they didn't know how to take me. That's for sure.
Right? Yeah. So so now currently speaking, are you still active? Like, how often are you active? I mean, are you still active? How often are you active, in the, the singer songwriting community, as far as performing and being out and about? Like when I saw you at the Greenlight.
Very. I mean, I play as much as I can. I try to do it. Pardon me, no less than once a week somewhere, but as much, up to 3 times a week. I am, man, forgive me for that.
It's okay.
I'm just outside of Nashville, so I got a little bit of a drive there to get there. And then, I do it every night if I could, I just
really, I get it
every night. And it doesn't, the thing about the writers' rounds is nobody makes any money, nothing like that. You do it just because, you just love doing it, and it's about making connections and meeting people that are like-minded. And that's it for me, man. That's enough for me, rather.
Right. So it's the love of music and the love of doing it.
Yeah.
It's part of you.
It is, man. It is. It's like I said, from the time I was a little kid.
See, I have VIP at Kid Rock. I'm on the top of the roof because I'm from Detroit, and that's the Batman building behind me. No,
right.
It's actually a green screen.
When me and Nick would drive into town, we right when we seen those, we called them the devil horns. We're on top of it.
The devil horns. Yeah. Who
Right,
came up with the Batman?
right when we seen it, man. Hair stands up on the back of my neck, and
Really?
oh yeah, every time when I would drive in, and then I would be so bummed when we left. I mean, I didn't say a word for an hour.
A friend of mine, the first guy I met here, I stayed at his place. I was supposed to go to his house tonight or today, but I had to do this. And he told me he's from New Jersey. He came here 10 years ago, and he played Carnegie Hall and everything. And he, in fact, he's got a hat like you, as a matter of fact, there's several. And he told me he didn't come down here because he was playing cover songs for a year after playing Carnegie Hall, right? Yeah. And then he stopped, but he still plays music, still writes songs because he loves it. He goes, but then one day, just like 2 years, maybe 2 years less than that he was here or something like that. And I said that wrong, but anyway, he shortly after he decided to go back to New Jersey. And as soon as he got in his car and he drove, he wasn't even a couple hours away, and he turned around and he goes, I can't go back. He knows everybody in New Jersey. He's from there, blah, blah, blah. He loved it here. He just loved it here. And he was trying to tell you. Yeah, it does suck you in. I mean, I'm from Detroit, and I don't even want to go back to Detroit. I mean, but you know what? Let me just say this. I showed you earlier a clip that I found, and I'm going to play it right now. Can you tell me? Were you familiar with where that was and when that was?
I believe that was at the Commodore.
Commodore. Well, you can talk about it after. So let me just play a little bit of it. Here, let me bring it to the stage here.
Hey. Yeah. All right. This song is called Highway.
I love that. You know what? I normally just play like a minute or so, and then I saw somebody make a comment. I love this song. Did you say that? Because somebody on there loves this song, and I was like, I can see. You know what? I tell people like, when I hear a song, what changed me is that I saw a movie called Begin Again, and it was about this producer that saw somebody singing, and they could hear all the instruments being played behind this one person playing and singing a guitar, and that's exactly how my brain works. And when I heard it, I'm like, oh my God, that song is awesome. That's an awesome song. Now tell me about that song. Now you wrote that, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Russell Wick said that. Okay, Russ loves your song. All right, I think he's the president of your fan club tonight. Anyway, so when did you write it, and how did you write it? What was, just give me the real.
So I wrote it a long time ago. The guitar was a like I got that 2000s rock thing going. But I wrote the music to it a long time ago, just picking around. It was just how you fiddle around with your guitar and you just come up with different stuff. And so I had that like on the back burner just for whenever. And without getting too much into it, it was a simple way of explaining how I felt when my wife had left me a long time ago. And that was it in a nutshell. The whole, it was a crazy time, man. And but I can't really talk much on it. Yeah, but yeah, man, that's what inspired that song for sure. And I always wanted, the reason it for some reason it fits that music, those lyrics fit that music. That could be easily a tear in your beer kind of type thing, or whatever. But I like sometimes to do songs that have happy, cool guitar, or music, but some just straight up sad, tragic lyrics, a couple of those now, but I do one of those every once in a while. That turned out to be one of those songs. And I think out of all my stuff, I really enjoy playing that the most. For sure.
You said a lot. I'm just trying to figure out like what else I can ask him. I have these questions, people send me questions, and I print out everything sometimes, but it's just like, and I just want to like gravitate to something that I feel when I talk to certain people or I listen to them, and I love to listen to people. And I told you that when I did this, and you've got a great voice. I mean, and you look like you're ready to go on tour with somebody right now. I mean, it's just crazy. And I love the fact that you have such a passion for this music with all these kids and grandkids, and I want I'm sorry about Samantha, and all that, and I'm all your other children. It seems like they've turned out
they're doing their thing, man. I've got a great family, for sure. And, my friends, also, my really close friends have always just, kind of just kicked me along. They wouldn't allow me just to sit, whatever. Like my buddy John will just randomly all the time texting me bass lines and songs that he's working on down in Florida. And, my favorite drummer in the world, Beckett Weir, is he was my drummer, or he was our drummer in Zero Gravity there toward the end. And just he's in 10 different bands. All good drummers are,
of course.
Love and Fire, baby, in Glamerica. Go get them.
Yeah.
He just he's and I'm trying to get him down here too. I think that he would kill it down here. And all my old friends would. I just wish they would. I wish my whole family and all my friends would just up and move to Nashville.
I've heard that so many times. You have no idea. That's not an uncommon thing.
I know. Yeah.
I get it. I just sent a message to my daughter. If you want to come down here, let me know.
The Boston.
So where are you? What's that?
When you were talking about Boston and whatnot, my friend, I haven't known him very long. His name's Christopher Mark. His wife is Kimberly Dom. She was the bass player in Boston for 10 years, I think.
Really?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we got a co-write coming up on the 5th. Him and I do, but he's a good dude, man. You should get his information. You'd probably really enjoy that interview.
I would love to. Feel free. Anybody feel free to get a hold of me. I'll do this all the time.
Solid dude, and his wife is a true musician, man. Bass, guitar, great voice, and just a killer musician, But what's that?
Oh, I was going to ask you, are you currently like in production with anything? Like, what's your from present day to forward?
I just released a song called "I Wonder If You Can See Me," and it's a stripped down version. But I'm paving the way right now to get all the players lined up to do a full band production of it. Nice. And we'll see what happens. But you guys, anyone can find that song online, Facebook, YouTube. Not Spotify yet. I've had it with them, but that song there, I wrote, when kind of figured my daughter was going to pass away. I started to try and write it, and then my like second cousin was killed, and in a horrible situation, and so I finished it and then wrote it, and then it hung around for a long time, and when my best friend Troy, when he passed away, I felt it fitting to dedicate it to him and just to read, just launch it, because I hadn't even played it out in front of many people at all. But when he was going through what he was going through, I went into the studio, finished it for him, and then, it's on his, I just finished it, and then after he passed away, I just like re-released it or released it, I guess. Just a stripped down version, but it's a good song.
Wait to hear it.
Yeah, man.
I want to hear it acoustic. That's what Nashville's about. I hear more acoustics than production stuff. I
mean, it's in a acoustic, format right now. So
cool.
Definitely do that. Yeah.
And we'll share, and just so you know, Jerry and anybody out there.
My buddy Troy. There you go. That's him. See that smile?
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great.
Man, he was a comedian, and he was very funny, and he'd been a comedian for years. Years and years and years. Yeah, that's my little shout out to my buddy.
Hey man, you can do whatever you want. This is your life, brother. This is your life. I told you that.
Right.
Like I said, I don't want to be remiss by not saying anything that that whatever you want to get out there, put it out now. We will be able to post other information, by the way, to getting his songs out there, because sometimes I don't have all the links or the websites or the streaming services or social media things. But people, like I told you before, and I'll tell everybody else this is kind of like a living podcast. I call it a streamcast.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's because after we're done, it'll not only loop for eternity on social media, but if people ask questions today, tomorrow, whenever, we'll be able to answer them. So will you. So you'll be able to contact. So if you want to put any information or feed it to us,
sure.
I'm going to place it out there. So if you want to find my new song or where I'm going to be playing. By the way, where are you going to be playing next?
I got. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you.
Sure, take your time. Because I know that. Oh, go ahead.
I'll be at the Commodore on Wednesday at 7:30 with my good friend Caleb Blake and my other good friend Kenny Baggett, and then let's see, the 22nd, the Millennium Maxwell House with my other good pal Kevin Mahoney. He's a badass, and let's see. And then trying to find I have a show, I think the Green Light is coming up too. soon, I hope. But I'll put that on, the socials and whatnot.
Yeah, please feel free to post it on,
Yeah.
on our pages, because we'll put it up there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything that you want that I left out possibly?
Man, this is my first time doing this, and I just found it to be so far just a really cool experience. It's this is fun. Nothing's off the table to talk about. I just, and that kind of thing. I mean, I like how the conversations go, and I mean, we've touched on a lot, I think so far, but yeah, I don't know, man. I think you're the interviewer, man. You got to pull this stuff out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun. Well, I've had people, like that told me.
I want to talk to myself a lot, though. Also, it's a thing for me. I don't know why, but this is like the most I've talked about myself in a long time.
I'm asking you to. I want to know. I want to know stuff. I want people to know, because this is also for. It's kind of broken up. Just so you know, I know that there's a lot of singer-songwriters. And some are very successful, and some are really good but haven't made it yet. And there's a lot of everybody, and that's what Nashville is really about. And Nashville is it's no longer just this country western mecca, isolated to the middle part of the country, like New York was and LA was, and it's people gravitate to hear from all over the planet. And I just wanted to take a little slice of it. Slice of Nashville, and find the people that really had a lot of heart and passion. I didn't want somebody that just thought, "Hey, I'm going to make it real big in 1 minute and go with it." You never gave me that impression, and I think at the very least, if somebody was to see this later, they would go, "Wow, that's what a real songwriter is about." And if they have the dream to come down to the ambition to go after this kind of thing, what you're in for. And also, even if you're not a singer-songwriter or whatever, it's a story that I love telling, because there's a lot of unsung heroes down here that can go weeks, months, decades without ever getting recognized for the things that they provide this town. And this town makes millions of dollars every single day. And it's not, I want it to be, and I'm not being negative, but I want to give it more juice. I write songs, I know how to produce, and I'm sitting there going to myself, what else can I do? And then I sat back and watched these people that I thought were like way above me and out of league. And then I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, they're working so hard. And it's like going 100 miles an hour and getting only, it's like they're spinning in place. But that's the process. You have to go as hard as you can to get this far, but hopefully it gets you never go backwards. Yeah. You didn't go backwards. You never went backwards with everything you did. You went from drums to guitar to writing songs at under 30, and then you tell me you have 2,000 songs in your however you've got them stashed everywhere, and that's the story. A lot of people can't do that, brother. A lot of people cannot do that. Some people can't write a poem, and you've done all that. And that song you just did, and you told us about it. That's an amazing story. I love that.
Thank you.
I love that.
Nashville will it will expose you, man. I mean, it's like, if you're for real or not, there's a place for everyone here. And so, like Russell, for instance, Russell Wick, it's like, that dude, he plays off a track, but he doesn't care. He
doesn't care.
He's here to do what he's doing. And that's that. And then, again, like you had mentioned earlier, it's like, and it's good too, and then you got people like, that have been here forever and, are looked over for some reason. Like, our friend, Mark Allen Barnett, you'll hear that name a lot around here.
I have heard that name a lot, actually.
That dude has been here forever, and he knows everybody. He just did a thing at the winery, the city winery. He just played a show with the Kinleys. They were a pretty big deal back in the day. But the Kimberly Dom, that gig, I believe he got her that gig with Boston, or was instrumental in making it happen. And it's like, he just knows all these people, and he's so freaking talented. I mean, damn, just when the guy starts singing, you start listening.
How many people are talented?
It never like took off. You know what I mean?
Never got his due.
Songs, but he's wrote a lot of songs. He writes for people. He's wrote a lot of songs and whatnot. But the guy should be a star by now. And same goes for bands that have made it. Even there's bands, like Cinderella. The Kiefer. That guy lives here. The old drummer for Stained. His name's John. He's in a band called Lydia's Castle here.
I've heard that.
They're it's just like there's a place for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I mean, who would have thought that Slipknot would record here?
You're right.
You just don't. You can't. You can't put. And it's became that way over time. It used to be just no backbeat. Just country. You know what I mean? Loretta Lynn, that kind of stuff. No rock music really. No nothing like that. That had to be done somewhere else. Well, this place is a complete mecca. I mean, it's a whole melting pot, and everybody's got a toe dipped in it. And that's a great thing. That's what gives me the chills when I come here, man. I can walk down Broadway, and you see a drummer in every window, and you hear your favorite song playing in every window. Every song you've ever heard on the radio, just some you'll hear 50 times before you get to the end, but it's like it's part of it, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't stop.
Right.
Don't stop.
Yeah. Don't stop believing.
Hey, I think when the Super Bowl had their picks here or something like that, I can't remember what it was, a few years back. They had a big concert down on Broadway. There had Brad Paisley, a whole bunch of people, and there was video playing. I didn't catch it, but we'd already left. Man, the whole street from front to back was singing "Don't Stop Believing" by Journey. The entire. I mean, thousands of people. So you'll hear that
song. That's a Detroit song from my hometown, except they got the words wrong, but he knew it and he didn't care. There's no South Detroit, Southwest Detroit, but because you'll end up in the river. I guess Jonathan Cain wrote the music here in Nashville, and Steve Perry wrote it from a hotel room in Detroit after a concert.
Wow.
He looked down and he goes, "Oh, Streetlight People," and and so is that funny?
Yeah, man.
And so Detroit, that's probably one of the few Detroit, Motown music row connections, and it's an eternal song written 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think that's the goal for any artist out there, to have that one legacy song. Do you have a legacy song in your head, or your heart, anything?
I haven't written it yet. I've had that conversation with myself many times, man. It's like you remember that little thing on YouTube where somebody would drive like a rock star or a band around in their car, and they would sing along to like these
carpool karaoke.
Car karaoke, yeah. And I was watching it one time, and I think the Chili Peppers was on there, and I was like, what's that going to be like? To where you just write a song that is,
forever.
Forever, like your iconic song. You know what I mean? Like Mark Allen Barnett's got Tables and Chairs, and that's a big song here, around Nashville. I don't. That would probably be his, right? But it's like, because I don't think anybody else is doing it yet. But for me, I mean, I don't know, man. I just haven't written it. I mean, if I sit and thought about it, that highway, that song you played just a minute ago, that's
I like that.
That's a pretty good song, and but I don't know, man. I guess you know what, I guess you can't write that song and go, this is going to be that song. It just has to take on a life of its own. You know what I mean? So I guess I won't know until it's already happened. You know,
Well, if you think about "Don't Stop Believing," I don't think they wrote that to be an anthem in a sports arena for
no,
one.
no.
But if you listen to the lyrics, there's like 3 or 4 verses that they never match any of anything, and you don't even get to the chorus till the end of the song. You know what I mean? Like you're going, what, where, who? Have like the people.
Man. Yeah.
It's crazy. Read the lyrics. If you ever read the lyrics, you're gonna go, what? And then if you took that down to the Nashville Songwriting Association right now, whoever's reading that would go, these lyrics are terrible. What do you mean cheap perfume? And like what? You know what I'm saying? Street haiku.
It's the vibe. It's the vibe, dude. It's like when you hear like Steve Perry's voice, man, it's like that right there sucks you in. When you have a unique voice like that, like my buddy, Caleb Blake, man, he's got a song out called Midnight in Memphis right now. But man, when you start hearing him sing, man, just everybody's ears perk up. You know what I mean? It's like you get drawn into that. So it's sometimes you put the right voice on. I fell down and cracked my head and got drunk.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you put the right, like Miles Kennedy on that, you know what I mean? Talking about a smash.
Yeah. Everyone's looking for that banger. I do want to. I know you don't collaborate with anybody. I'm going to write a song with you. I want to put the music behind it. I think because you just got so much flavor. You can just tell. You're like that. You're like that. That one item at the picnic barbecue. And did you try that? No, what? Where? And then you go back and the tray's empty and everyone's licking their fingers. You know what I mean? It's like, you're that guy. You just bring a lot of flavor to the show, man. Thank you very much. I really, it's been really fun. I didn't know, I never know how this is going to go. I just know that you and I, and not to, I know that you and I've been through our own reasons why we came here that most people should never go through, but that wasn't why I had no idea until we had the conversation later. I just saw this man in a black outfit and a black hat, and everyone was talking about you, and you gotta talk to him. And I saw you getting ready to leave the place. I thought, and they go, aren't you going to stop him? I go, no. I go, if he doesn't want to do it, I don't want him to do it. And then you came back because you were just going out for a second. You came back, and then you started talking. You were super friendly.
Yeah, Russell suggested I come and holler at you, and I'm glad I did, man, because I instantly found you as a fascinating guy, and you're a talker for sure, and that tells me two things: that you're either a bullshitter or that you've had an interesting life. So it's like with you, I'd say you've had an interesting life, and I'm glad I met you, man, for sure. And I hope we can. Anytime you want to write, dude, just let me know.
Yeah, I think you're the real deal. You are one of those guys that Nashville is about, man. If I was to write a movie, I would put you. I would have a character called Jerry Wayne Allen in my movie, and he would look just like you. In fact, I'd let you play it. You know what I mean?
You never know, man. It might be my second calling.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to say? Because I mean, we'll wrap it up in a minute here. I know we've been on almost an hour and a half.
Thank you, man. I just thanks for being interested. There's so many people out here in Nashville, dude, and they're just, just people send me songs all the time, and it's just like it saddens me to know, like Elliot Boo, and then Kristen Michaela, and like all these people will send songs, or just because they're trying to get them out, not even just to me directly, but they're just trying to get them out. Sure. And let people know that they put them out. And it's like it saddens me to even think that these people would get looked over, and the reality is a lot of people will. I certainly don't expect to do anything. I'm just glad I'm doing it. I just didn't want to be that guy on my deathbed that went, man, I really wished I would have, moved to Tennessee and did my thing and just, let that part of my life ring out,
Sure. I wanted to say that, I think you were exactly right that there's not enough due given to people, enough, homage or whatever, just recognition. Mm-hmm. And I want to, I can only do so much with this, but I want to do it And I know that once it's out there, it's like a stain. It's never going away.
Yeah.
So if you want to, before I do close up the show, I want you to say something if you want, it could be 1 word, 2 words, as many as you want, to your, friends, your family, your future audience or whatever, one last, parting phrase from Mr. Jerry Wayne Allen. But, I thank you for doing this because I do want to recognize the artists out there, the unsung, songwriter or hero, if you will, of Nashville, because I do believe that they've given up a lot to be here and they've been through the journeys, and you have all of that. And I'm really honored to have had you here tonight. I really am. And I just wish you nothing.
It's an honor meeting you. It really, really, really has been an honor meeting you, man. I do really appreciate it, brother. I guess if I had one thing to tell anybody, man, and this is just, it's from a song that I wrote 10 years ago, I think. And it's my mantra, I guess, when I'm feeling, because I'm getting older and, we're both getting older, and it's like, so how that feels. And, just so many people around me are just, there's been a lot of people pass away just over the last 5 years. People that have been really, really close to me. And just some of them have died doing their dream, but so many of them haven't, so I guess it would just be, don't die before you pass away. And those words just ring out to me every time I think about it. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
That would be it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's been an honor and a pleasure, and I, hope you come back. Feel free to post anything you want, where you're going to be, what you're going to do, anytime. You know where to find me and how to do it.
Yeah.
And stick around. I'm going to take you off the screen. I want to say goodbye to everybody. But how about a big round of applause? And out there, and if you see this later, Mr. Jerry Wayne Allen, everybody. Thank you so much, man.
For Nashville, baby.
All right, my man. I'll be right back with you, man. Wow. So that was the show tonight on this Sunday here in beautiful March. Can you imagine this weather that we're having? Usually back in Detroit, it's like 3 feet of snow. And I heard that they had great weather. Everybody's having great weather. Like he said, a lot of people are, have been disappearing the last couple of years or so because of everything going on, and who knows, but live your life. My son once said this to me. He said, Dad, life is life. And what he meant by that, after he said, put it in God's hands, he meant, you got to keep going no matter what. And that's what he meant. And I share that with people without having to tell that whole story, but life is life. And you know what? Look at Jerry and look at all these other great people trying to make the world a better place with something inside of them. And you know what? You can't get any better than that. I mean, it's probably been explained 100,000 times, 100,000 different ways or more. But that's the way I'm going to say it tonight. And I'm going to send you off with peace and love. I'm really honored to have had him on there. If you guys check him out, go, YouTube him, whatever. His music's out there. We're going to put more links and stuff to that. So enjoy his ride, enjoy his music. And that's all I got for tonight. And we got another live interview coming up this Wednesday. And she's going to bring something to the table, and hopefully we can find out what she's all about. She's also a singer-songwriter down here in Nashville. So, we got a couple nice ones from downtown inside of Music Row. All right, you guys have a great night, and I'm going to send you off with the song I started with right here. Have a great night. Thank you for coming to Nash Talk.
Stumble into bed and getting back up just to do it all again. Nowadays you can find me here in my backyard, having an ice cold beer and playing my guitar, yeah, 'cause nowadays it's cookouts and bonfires, I'm watching my babies having fun, daddy swing me higher, and all my old friends just leave me alone, 'cause they all know by now. Nowadays I drink at home.